being open. We have just stepped into the year of the open door, and we've come to declare to you tonight that this is your year of the double door, your year of destiny. This is the year of the open door. This is the year of the open door. This is the year where we press for more. This is the year where we press for more. This is the year that we seek His face. This is the year that we seek His face. This is the year that His glory reigns. This is the year that His glory reigns. This is the year of the open door. This is the year of the open door. This is the year where we press for more. This is the year where we press for more. This is the year that we seek His face. This is the year that we seek His face. This is the year that His glory reigns. This is the year that His glory reigns. We're singing, oh, the year of the open door. It's the year of the open door. Oh, it's the year of the open door. This is the year we walk in destiny. This is the year we walk in destiny. This is the year of divine decree. This is the year of divine decree. This is the year that we hear His voice. This is the year that we hear His voice. Upholding truth no matter what the cost. Upholding truth no matter what the cost. This is the year we walk in destiny. This is the year we walk in destiny. This is the year of divine decree. This is the year of divine decree. This is the year that we hear His voice. This is the year that we hear His voice. Upholding truth no matter what the cost. Upholding truth no matter what the cost. We're singing, oh, the year of the open door. It's the year of the open door. Oh, it's the year of the open door. Now I want y'all to act like you're excited about your door that you get ready to walk through. Your door of destiny. Come on and put those hands together. Come on, let me see you move. Come on. And I'm getting ready to prophesy to you that your door be opened in Jesus' name. The door is open. The door is open. So walk on through it. The kingdom's waiting, waiting. The door is open. The door is open. So walk on through it. The kingdom's waiting, waiting. The door is open. The door is open. So walk on through it. The kingdom's waiting. The door is open. The door is open. So walk on through it. The door is open. The door is open. Come on, walk on through your door. The door is open. Oh, the door is open. Come on. The door is open. Hey, the door is open. Yeah. The door is open. It's open. It's open. Your door is open. It's open. Your door is open. Yes. We're singing, oh, yeah. It's the year of the open door. It's the year of the open door. We prophesy. It's the year of my open door. It's the year of the open door. Oh, it's the year of the open door. Hallelujah. Come on and celebrate your open door. I don't know about you, but I got some big things waiting on me. So I'm walking on through my door. Come on, come on. The door is open. The door is open. So walk on through it. Come on, do your prophetic act. Come on, walk through your door. The door is open. Come on.
You're listening to Launch with Kim
and Dr. Newt
on PRAYz.FM. Hello.
Welcome everybody to Launch.
Yes, with Kim
and Dr. Newt.
Yes, so welcome. We're so glad that you're back, that you're joining us again today.
Yes.
Come on in the room.
Hope you had a wonderful last week and a great weekend.
Yeah, we had a great weekend.
Oh, yes, we did.
Yeah,
oh,
we went to a marriage conference
in San Jose, California with Apostle Ron Carpenter.
And it was really amazing. And Hope, it was great. Oof. We relaxed a little bit. We learned a lot of it.
Yeah. How they gonna break you down to your brake pads in the marriage conference?
In the marriage conference, it
Jokers
sure
was
did.
on the floor, snotting and crying and everything else. My
it
goodness,
was.
in the marriage conference.
In a marriage conference. Mm-hmm. That's how you do when you're working on your relationship. You invest in it. You know.
It's like woo.
Yeah, when he said Jokers was on the floor, I think it was we might have been. It was good work, good teaching, and we learned so much.
It was exciting. We encourage you to hit a conference. Mm-hmm. Maybe you can hit one of ours. We'll tell you about that another time.
But most importantly, make sure that you invest in yourself.
Yes, indeed.
Invest in your relationship.
Yes, indeed. Welcome. I see a few people in already. I see Ronnie Love. Good evening. All right.
I've got Ron
Lisa.
Washington, Michael Hopkins. Hey, cousin.
Fam, what's going on? Lisa Anderson.
We've got our cousin Ayana McLeod. Come on, family. Welcome. Felicia
right.
Barnes. Hi, bestie.
Leslie Curry. Good
Debbie
evening.
Smallwood. Carletta Sanders.
Yeah.
Wow. Come on in the room.
Yeah, it's crazy because my phone's not working.
I have to keep sending those little invites out. Time zones mean a lot.
Yeah.
Getting all of our friends in when their time zone is so different than yours. But if you have it on your page, you share it on your page, and you can invite someone else to join in to Launch with Kim and Dr. Newt.
Yeah,
Speaking of relationships, we talked about investing in our relationship this weekend and going away and just learning so much more about each other and learning more about the value and the importance of relationships.
Right. So we've been talking the last couple of weeks about pursuing your purpose. Mm-hmm. And I think we started out first talking about 3 keys that you could, actually the origin of relationship, of our purpose. Right. So we took you back to some biblical origins. Mm-hmm. We shared 3 keys that you could begin to utilize so that you can pursue your purpose. Right. You know, looking at your gifts, areas of your thrust, your areas of attack.
Yes.
Right. We talked about 4 principles of purpose. We taught you those, and that's where we pulled out the piece that favor always brings haters.
Yeah, which brought us on to our next segment, which we talked about the benefits of being attacked, the benefits of opposition.
Right. So we gave you 6 things you can do to make sure that opposition you get, you can benefit from it, because you should benefit, because it's coming. Right. So we might as well make it work for us, right?
That's right.
So this week, we want to dive into something that we think is probably the most influential thing that you experience in your life, something you really cannot avoid.
Right.
And it's either going to help support your purpose
or cause you to abort your purpose.
And that's relationships.
Mm-hmm. Relationships in your life, people that you are connected to.
Yes.
In whatever way.
Yes. So we don't really talk about relationships a lot, especially in today's modern church as much, you know. But I believe that there's 4 things: relationships, your identity, your purpose, and your position. Mm-hmm. So we're going to focus a little bit on relationships today. Yeah. So do you have your launch pads? Oh, we have our launch pads.
We got these little special launch pads.
You got to get your launch pads out.
Keep your notes in them.
Because we want you to take notes, you know, and we want you to look at them, you know, look at them the next day and look at them again so you don't forget them. But we're going to start off by talking about 3 questions that you have to consider when you're looking at the relationships in your life, because you want to identify the relationships in your life.
Yeah, and you definitely need to ask yourself these three basic questions.
Right,
and they're simple questions, probably things that you've considered, but maybe you haven't applied them to relationships before.
Right.
You know?
So these questions will help. We said you have to identify them, relationships, but you also have to analyze relationships.
Find
and
out
then
where
you
they
have
fit.
Right, and then you got to be able to assign them correctly
And
in your
put them
life.
in the correct place.
So these three questions will help you analyze the types of relationships in your life, right?
The first one is, does this relationship add value to my life? You really have to think about that.
Right.
If it adds value to your life.
Or does it decrease your assets?
Wow.
Right?
And
Because
you say a lot that there's no such thing as a neutral relationship.
Yeah.
Or if you don't know what that means,
we're going to tell you in a minute.
talk a little bit more about that later.
The second question is, does this relationship only make withdrawals or does it make withdrawals and deposits?
Right.
Because
you need a partner.
Yeah. Or if it's not a partner, then
it's a parasite. And we'll talk a little bit more about what a parasite is. Keep that in mind. I know it sounds like, whoa, but the truth is that some people will just take from you.
Right.
Okay?
And the third question is, does this relationship cause you to resurrect things in your life that you've already buried, that you've already put in the grave, things that should remain in the grave?
Right.
Because you don't want to walk with an ambassador of dead things.
Right. A person who's constantly bringing up your past.
Right.
Constantly telling you, reminding you of the negative things that you've come out of.
Right. So those are the three questions we want you to consider. So hopefully you caught them and put them in your launch pad, but we'll say them again. So get that launch pad ready if you missed it the first time so you can catch it the second time.
Right.
But we want to start talking about neutral relationships. We want you to understand that there's relationships in your life and there's none of them are neutral. So I guess the best way for me to kind of explain this to you is that years ago I was caught in this negative loop of negative behaviors, right? And I have to say first that it was my choice.
Yeah.
You know, I did it. Right. I'm my poser, right? So I was the one to have myself in the cycle, right? But every time I would kind of, I guess, come to myself when I was in the middle of that mess, I noticed that there were about 4 or 5 people, always the same people there. Right. So if you take that with the principle that, in the biblical principle that says that there's seed, time, and harvest, and that is what keeps the world cycling, right? So that means that there's a give and take to everything. So whatever is giving something is taking something. Whenever's taking something, it's giving something. It's reaping and harvest. It's a cycle that goes along. So we could take that same thing and apply that to relationships.
Right.
So when I would notice that I was around those same 4 or 5 negative folks when I found myself in the middle of that mess, it was because what I was getting, they were feeding that thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the relationship wasn't neutral. I wasn't going there, in control. I was going there and being affected.
Right. And keep in mind, as he mentioned, it was his choice. So sometimes we plant those seeds ourselves. And if you plant a seed, you're going to grow a harvest.
Right.
So he was growing that harvest, and those same people that he found himself, connected to were still there.
Right. So there's no neutral relationships. And so you have to ask yourself, does this relationship add value? Or does it decrease my assets?
Right.
And you have to make some decisions. That's the first analysis point. The second one is parasites.
Or partner.
Partners,
Which one is it?
Right. So to give you this, there's an example of a study done in Kenya.
Right.
So there were like 545 infants in that study. And they found that 200 of those 545 infants had parasite.
Yeah, and their height, their weight, and their motor skills, even the circumference of their brains were smaller than the other children.
Right. So in essence, what they could infer from those findings was that when a parasite exists in the human body, it is going to stunt growth or deter development of a thing, right? So we want to take that same principle and apply it to the relationships that you have in your lives.
But can I just tell them, because what a parasite is, and I know you guys know that is something icky. However, I just want to give you the definition. But a parasite is an organism or a person who benefits by deriving nutrients at someone else's expense. So it gives you nothing back in return. It just takes and takes and takes.
Right. So that what we want to kind of, I guess, lay off to you is that that not every relationship is equal, right? So, but it should be equitable.
Right.
So what that means is that it's not 50-50, but if there's a give and take in that relationship, if there's a withdrawal and a deposit,
right,
then it has to be something that you agree upon,
right,
something that's okay with you. And if it's not, then that relationship is parasitic.
Right.
So if you the one always buying the hamburger, you know, or if there's a give and take in the relationships and that give and take devalues you in some way, or takes advantage of you, or takes you for granted, then it is parasitic. So
we're going to take a break right here. So keep in mind, relationships are a surefire element that will work to support or cause you to abort your purpose. So we gave you 3 questions to think about. When we come back in this next segment, we're going to have suggestions for how to identify those major types of relationships. But we're going to listen to a song from Kiara Shears, and we need you to hang on in there.
Turbulence is the price you pay for flying high. So whenever you're flying high, you're going to have some bumpy areas. That's why I want to admonish you to don't give up, but hang in there.
Y'all see what I'm talking about? Come on, Kiara Shear, come help her. Everybody clap your hands. Kiara Shear. Thank you, Lord. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go.
What you gonna do when your back's against the wall? How you gonna respond when it seems the hope is lost? Tell me what you gonna do when you need a little more grace. Yeah. How you gonna respond when they try to test your faith? Hang on in there.
hold you up, and in the process, they'll fill your cup. So I'm not worried, I'm not scared. I'm gon' trust like my bishop said. It's a message to the devil, you can't help our faith. And we gon' make it by his grace. You gotta
You're listening to Launch with Kim
and Dr. Newt on PRAYz FM.
Welcome back.
Welcome everybody.
Glad you hung on in there. That was Kiara Shears with Hang On In There. That's what we got to do.
Outstanding. Don't forget to share this to your friends. Tell them to come on in and watch. You have the link. Get someone to come in because I think we're sharing some pretty pertinent information for all of us.
Exactly. Especially if you want to launch your life. You got to know the value of those relationships.
We've been talking about pursuing your purpose.
Yeah.
And we're hitting on things that everyone can use to be able to make sure that we move forward towards pursuing that purpose. So we talked about two of the three questions. We talked about no neutral relationships. Does this relationship add value to my life or decrease my assets? Right. We said that there's a relationship either going to be a partner
or a parasite.
So we have a third question here that we want to bring. Well, the third point we want to bring up is, does the relationship belong in the grave?
Right.
So take this right here. For instance, think about the Super Bowl. So you just had the Kansas City Chiefs win the Super Bowl. What if at the end of that Super Bowl,
now don't make nobody mad.
They're doing the celebration on the field.
Right.
What if they're about to hand them that trophy and let them do their speech? What if the Chiefs would have said, never mind, go ahead and call the San Fran out. Let them have a trophy. Let them be the championships. Even though we worked hard for it all year and we beat them, just go ahead and let them be the champ. You would think something was wrong with them, right?
Absolutely. All that work.
But each and every one of us have been through things in our lives. I mean, we fought battles and some of us wars, and we've come out of things, and we put things to rest that others, would have crumbled up and died about, and we put them in the grave of the past and dealt with them, won over them. But yet what we'll do is in our relationships, we will intertwine with someone who will bring that thing out of the grave and make it, prevalent in our life today.
Right. I was watching, I go through the news feed on Facebook, and a couple of days ago, I just happened to run through and I saw that there was a long conversation with a different group of people. And in one of the posts, I noticed this one person just started bringing up to that person their past.
Right.
And I thought, wow.
Right.
That's something that happened a long time ago. And this person wasn't excited about hearing the negative things that they did in their past.
Right.
But that person brought that up. And we got to be careful,
very careful
with those type of relationships. And I'm sure, probably the other person didn't mean any harm, but many times bringing things like that up can put us in different positions. And we got to be careful not to, harm the other person.
So we want to be careful that the relationships that we're in do not resurrect dead things.
That's right.
Things that should remain in the grave. If it does, then that person, whether they're trying to be or they're not trying to be, they're actually an ambassador of dead things. So you have to now make some decisions about that relationship and the amount of access to you that you allow that relationship
make
to
sure
have.
It's in the right place.
Right. So we said we were going to break the types of relationships up into two pieces, what we call temporary relationships and
permanent
and one
relationships.
that we call permanent relationships, right? So we have two temporary relationships that we like to share with you. But I want you to understand that our premise here is based on this statement that says that disappointment is the child of incorrectly placed expectations.
Say that again. Say it again.
Disappointment is the child of incorrectly placed expectations. When you put your expectations on someone or something, or even on yourself, and it's not something that you or another person or another thing is able to do, or more importantly, willing to do, then you're setting yourself up for disappointment.
Absolutely.
So all those things have to do with relationships.
Right. I mean, think about it yourself. Like, you have certain expectations of people. As a matter of fact, there was a time when I was in a worship team, and I had expectations.
Right.
And I had to apologize for that.
Right.
Because sometimes you put stuff on people that they can't even own up to.
Right.
And it's really your weight, what you need from them. So we have to be very careful. About those expectations.
So there's two types of temporary relationships, building off of that the premise that we just said. The first type we want to talk about are comrades. Comrades. So a comrade is someone that's connected to you because of a cause.
Right.
You both stand up for, Black Girls Rock, or is that what it's called?
We do.
Or
that's a good
I don't
one.
know, homelessness in your city, or whatever the case may be. Some cause, something that you both believe in, and you're both working towards or want to accomplish, assist, or
Right.
make better.
Could be a group on Facebook that you
Yes.
know that you
Anything.
all connect with, and you may not even know
Yep.
the people.
Anything.
They
Yeah.
could be in Canada, and you could be
Right.
in
Right.
wherever.
Right.
Idaho.
So that connection is over that cause.
Right.
It's not because of you as a human being,
Right.
not your purpose or your destiny, what you bring to the table. It's because of the cause.
Right.
So that means that that cause, when it's addressed, then you don't have no relationship any
Right.
longer.
Because they don't really know you.
Right.
They just know you're connected because
that
of that cause.
Right.
Right. So those are comrades.
Exactly. So just to give a real quick
Mm-hmm.
example, so many leaders, especially in larger organizations, they're really your comrade.
Right.
Because they really want your skill set or whatever because of the cause
Right.
that you're
So the
representing.
person who's over Apple.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. He doesn't necessarily know you.
Right.
Right.
So one important thing to remember about comrades is they're not worthy of your intimacy.
Right.
So intimacy means information.
Your personal information.
Yeah, so I'm giving you information into me. Into me, I'm allowing you to see. So it's just information. So they're not worthy of that. So they're not connected to you. They're connected
Right.
to the cause. All right. The second type of temporary relationship,
Constituents.
constituents. Right. So instead of a cause,
They're connected by a task.
a task. Right. So
Something
there's a
that you both
certain
agree
thing you
on.
want to do.
Right.
You know, the praise and worship team.
Okay.
You know, I don't know, you're doing a banquet together.
Right.
You know, a project at work, something at the community center.
Right.
You guys are working a bake sale or something like that. You know, you're connected because of that task, right?
Yeah. And they're not necessarily concerned with you
Yeah. Yeah.
and your purpose or your destiny.
Right.
It's just that particular task
Right.
that you both are working towards.
So when the task dissipates, the relationship
So does the
dissipates,
relationship.
right?
And when there's another task, you may get back together
Exactly.
again.
So here's one thing you want to, why we're bringing this up, is you don't want to make, so you're working with someone on the task and they seem like locked on, a really locked on individual. They're organized, you know, they're hard charging, motivating, all those kind of things like that. But what kind of happens is that's all you know.
That's it.
You know them because of that task. So you want to be careful allowing them into your life. You want to be careful getting information from them that you're going to make decisions about your future or your destiny because you don't know anything about them except that task.
Right.
So you don't misassign
Right.
a constituent. They're temporary.
Yes. Ronnie Love says you never know what state of mind that will take them into. You're so right. If you give a position to someone who is really supposed to be a comrade and they don't really know how
Right.
to do any other position, or that's
Right.
all they know you
That's
for.
all they
They're
know.
the smile in Starbucks.
Exactly.
That's it. You're
Exactly.
absolutely right. We
So
do have to
not
be careful.
make that mistake, and we often do, you know, because we're on the praise and worship team together,
Right.
You know, but we're really just connected because of the praise and worship team,
Right.
You know, so until you do some work to build the relationship,
Exactly.
so that's the two temporary types of
Right.
relationships.
They're in that temporary
Right.
bucket.
So in the permanent button, there's one type, but we broke it into four kinds,
Right.
and they're called
Confidants. And we all have them.
right,
But
So
they all have different,
confidants.
there's different types of confidants.
Right.
So really make sure you put this down on your launch pad because you're going to need to evaluate
Yes.
or analyze.
Yes. So you can assign them correctly. So a confidant is someone that is concerned about you.
Right.
They're connected to you.
They
because
love
of-
you.
Yes. Your character.
They want the best
Yes.
for you.
So
you
all
know?
the confidants have that in common, right? You're not connected over a thing. You're connected because of you.
Right, your relationship.
Yeah. Okay. So you got that down. So there's the first type of confidant we want to bring up. It's called an irresponsible confidant. An irresponsible confidant. So here's why we call them well. First of all, the irresponsible confidant makes you feel good.
Right. I like to call them unresponsible, but Newt calls them irresponsible. It's the same. It's fine. Go ahead.
Whatever you need. Whatever. Right. So they make you feel good.
They do.
They're concerned with you at that moment. They don't want to see you sad. They don't want to see you lacking.
They may
Yeah.
may not even
They wanna
challenge
see
you.
out of sorts.
Right.
Yeah, they want you to be okay.
Right there.
Yes. So they love you because of that. But they're going to possibly not always tell you
The truth.
the truth. right?
It's those well, I don't want to say the besties, but somewhat like the besties, people that you knew from your past, and you guys were cheerleaders together.
So you got the warm and fuzzies,
right? The warm, warm and fuzzies
with each other. So they don't want to hurt you,
right? They don't want to hurt you.
So they only gonna tell you positive things,
right?
So that's why we call them irresponsible. Why I call them irresponsible confidants, because they're not responsible to your future,
right?
They're not responsible to your purpose, your destiny. Although they care about you,
but they're needed. You need them to give you that fuel at that particular time. They do motivate you.
Motivate you right now, so you can push forward and attack your tomorrow.
That's right.
Right?
With confidence.
Yes.
But
they're dangerous because they're the warm and fuzzy jokers, and you like it there. You like the feeling they make you, so you can justify yourself in them. Right.
You got to be careful with being confident in a comfortable place.
Right, because you can paralyze your purpose. You can get stagnant,
yes,
right?
You can.
So an example, before we go to the break, teenage friends. Kim gave one. So here's what you need to do with those irresponsible confidants, right? You need to go over their house when you need them. Go ahead and get some chicken wings and a salad and some juice. Let them motivate you and make you feel good, and go home and start over again. All right, you guys.
The disciples feeding the 5,000.
That's right. The disciples feeding the 5,000.
So all of them.
They were all hyped after feeding that 5,000. Look what we did. Yeah, da-da-da-da-da. But what does Jesus do after that? He takes them across the river to seek one person.
Right.
So those irresponsible confidants focus on your here and now, don't necessarily help you get to your tomorrow, to your destiny. So you need to keep that in mind, right, when you're looking at your things. So pick up your launch pads. Pick up your launch pads and make sure you take those notes. We had an example of Abishai and David when Saul was sleeping. Remember, he was asleep, and they came up on him. His spear was in the ground, and Abishai said, "Oh, God delivered him to you." Right?
He was delivered in your
but
hand.
David understood his destiny and said, "No, touch not my anointed, do my prophet no harm." Thank you guys. Stay in, stay tuned. We got some more for you. Hopefully this is good stuff. Share.
Here is a music break. William Murphy. It's working. Tell yourself it's working for your good.
It's working for my good.
For favor, this is my season to reap what I have sown. This is my season for grace, for favor. Yeah. This is my season to reap what I have sown. Listen at this. See, I haven't been perfect, but I sure been faithful. See, God's got a purpose, yes, and I know He's able. I've got a seed in the ground that He's blessing. No more stressing. I've got a seed in the ground. Now I'm knowing, and it's showing my season for grace, for favor. It only works when we all do it. This is my season to do what? To reap what I have sown. Come on, you say, this is my season for grace. For what else? For favor. This is my season to reap what I have sown. Listen, everything is working together for my good. Say, church, everything is working. Don't feel good together, but it's working for my good. Say it again, y'all. Everything is working together for my good. Sing it again. Everything is working together.
prophesy with your body language. Just say, what you say? God is leaning in my direction. Don't prophesy. I said he's leaning. In whose direction?
In my direction.
Come on, you waiting on me to say it. You gotta say it. Say it.
He's leaning
In my
in
direction.
my direction.
Cause this is my season for grace, for favor. This is my season. Come on, y'all. To be what I have sown. Will you raise your hand and say, I've got a seed in the ground? Come on, open your mouth, say, I've got a seed in the ground. And I don't care what your circumstance says, it's already getting better.
You're listening to Launch with Kim
And Dr. Newt
on PRAYz.FM. Newt decided to take a little pause for the cause before he said his name. He wanted to say his name exclusively. Welcome back.
Welcome back
Oh,
to
that
Launch,
was
everyone.
William Murphy.
Thank you for
and
hanging
it's
in there with
working
us.
for our good.
Share. If you haven't shared already, share already. I mean, share if you haven't shared already.
Share again. Share again.
Share one
Okay,
more
you
time.
are listening to Kim and Newt with Launch on PRAYZ, PRAYZ.FM. 24 hours of what? Praising.
That's right. That's right. That's
Keep
right.
in mind, if you have an idea to host your own show, please contact us.
Yes,
Contact
yes,
us. Let's see. We are at www.PRAYZ.FM.
Right.
And if you contact that, you will reach the beautiful and wonderful Lady Rain.
You can also hit us at on Facebook Live or YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, Instagram, and it's at PRAYZ FM Live.
PRAYZ.
At PRAYZ FM Live. PRAYZ
FM Live.
FM Live.
Yes.
All right, you guys. Hey, listen, we've been talking about pursuing purpose, and we've gone through a few shows about things that you can do, 3 keys, 6 things you could do. Today, we're touching on relationships, and I'm seeing some good stuff in the chat. I see one from Llewellyn Coleman.
Come on, get her name
We
right.
just talked about 2 types of relationships, temporary ones and permanent ones. And we gave you 2 types of temporary relationships, the comrades and the constituents. And she replied, what did she say?
Trying to connect to temporary can give power to people that they don't know what to do with.
And that's dangerous.
That is very dangerous.
Right. So she's way ahead of us. That's actually the point we're trying to make to all of you.
Exactly.
right.
Ronnie
Right.
Love's in there posting too. Look, Ronnie Love says she's the friend that's going to let you know before you step out.
I'ma let you
And
know.
we're going to talk about those kind of friends,
Yeah.
Ronnie.
You can't run
Ronnie
them stripes and
Love
plans around
Langley.
me. She gonna let you know you need some lotion.
Hi, Yolanda. Yes, that's the kind of friend I want.
Yes,
Let me
indeed.
know.
Please let me know.
Please tell us. So it's segment 3. We're back. We're going to keep on going.
So we talked about the first type of confidant. We said the confidants are permanent relationships because they care. They're invested in
Right,
you.
they're invested in you.
Yes, they love you, your purpose. But there's 4 types, and we talked about those irresponsible confidants, and we talked about some pros and cons of
Right,
them.
right.
So if you allow us, please, we'll move to another type. We're going to call them the abandoner confidant. The abandoner confidant.
You need your launch pad on that.
Yeah, you need
The
your launch pad.
abandoner.
So what I want you to do with your launch pad is I want you to think about your experiences that you've had with abandoner confidants or any of the other ones we talked about. We're going to talk about. Think about when you might have been one or you've experienced one, and then kind of jot down in your notes what could you have done differently.
Right.
Yourself if you were one, or with someone else was one in your life. So that's what the launch pad is about. It's for you to grow. It's your notes for you to grow. So we're giving you information. So what you do is analyze it, and it's called synthesize it, come up with a new way of thinking, and then you evaluate it, you know, and you create this new cycle in your life.
Application, put it on. Put it on.
So the abandoned or confidant, like we said, it's connected to you.
They love you.
Right.
Same thing.
But they're the ones that you can share your dreams with.
Right. Because they really want the best for you.
Yes. They're that person you can say, ooh, we should do this. I wish I could do that. And you guys can go at it for
hours, talking about possibilities. They're
dreaming.
Somewhat creative. They help you to dream cast.
Right.
You know, I have several friends like that.
Right. I mean, they write stuff down.
Yeah, they charge you, motivate you.
Yes. It's like a super relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you know, it's how you birth things.
Right. And they're needed because they channel you. They help you.
Right.
You know, to get things so that you don't stay as you are.
Right.
Like the unresponsible or the irresponsible confidant, that kind of Lady Rain's grinning.
So in essence, what happens with this abandoned or confidant, their purpose or their assignment in your life is to motivate you to start something.
Right.
It's really what they are.
To launch. Come
to
on
launch.
and launch. Okay, just checking.
Come on. Right.
So they motivate you.
But the deal is, although it's their purpose or assignment to motivate you, it's your responsibility to finish.
That is so good.
So they get you started, but it's your responsibility to finish. So here's kind of what happens with that abandoned or confidant. They'll be, 100% headlong with you. I mean, you're motivated together, and you might start a thing together. But as soon as the winds come, as soon as some type of opposition happens, they will drop back.
Right.
But and what we do is we get mad at it. Right, like some of y'all just when I said that right now, it's probably like
you start naming folks. I know you did.
We get mad at them, but you have to realize that was never their purpose.
It was never the purpose.
It was never
and that's
their
what Lady Rain got the sound effects over there. That's what Llewellyn was just talking about. That they don't know what to do with that expectation that you've given them.
So they had already served their purpose in your life, which was to get you started on the thing.
Get you started, to give you information,
to you to finish,
help you to motivate you.
So you don't kick them out your life.
Right.
What you do is you understand they serve that purpose and you celebrate that with them.
Right. Because you're going to need them again later on.
Because you're going to start something else again later on. And remember.
So the problem was yours.
Right.
Because you put an expectation on them. And remember, we said if you don't want to be disappointed, that you cannot put those expectations. Yes, incorrectly placed expectations.
So that's why we're teaching you how to identify the types of relationships and analyze them so you can know what they do and assign them correctly in your life. Because you can't launch correctly when your relationships are all jacked up.
Right, absolutely.
So we told you they're needed because they're a channel to help you, move forward. And they help you basically call things that are not as though they are.
All
and
right.
That's really what they do in your life. They help you see what you
may not be able to
see yourself, right? So they help bring that out of you, right?
Yeah.
But they're dangerous if you expect them to walk the whole way with you.
Right.
Because that's not their purpose.
It's not their purpose, and they can't do it.
Right. So, like I said, don't throw them away. So here's an example of a abandoned or confidant. Do you remember when Joseph was thrown in prison, and it was the butler, and the baker, right? So they both had a dream. Joseph told them the dream. Told the butler, 3 days you guys are gonna be released. You'll live. Told the other guy, you ain't gonna make it, bro.
I don't want to hear that.
You ain't gonna make it, bro.
I don't want that.
Right. So what happened was, they were happy for that. The butler and the baker. When he gets out, he gets before the king and he forgets to say something about Joseph. So that's a type of an abandoner, right? So I mean, that's a stretch of one. So let's give you another one. So do you remember Ruth? The story of Ruth, how her husband died and her two daughter-in-laws, their husbands died, her sons.
Oh, the one daughter,
right?
Orpha,
right?
Yeah.
So they were Ruth was going to go back to her homeland, right? Which was because remember she was actually living in a place that wasn't her homeland. She was going to go back home to her homeland, Israelites, and the two daughter-in-laws started to go with her. Ruth told them to go back, and first they didn't, but then Orpha did, right? So although she was a confidant of Ruth,
Right.
loved
She was
Ruth,
there with her.
yes,
You know.
she did not finish that walk, finish that journey with her.
It wasn't her
Right.
journey to finish.
Right.
It wasn't even her journey to finish. And
Exactly.
that is what we've got to keep in mind.
Exactly. There's another one, David by the brook
Brook.
of Besor. So I don't know if you remember, the Israelites were attacked when David wasn't there, and a lot of the things were taken. And then David asked God, should he pursue? God said, yes, pursue him. David has 600 men.
Right.
Right. So when they got to the brook of Besor,
You had to leave some.
200 of them couldn't make it. Right. They loved David. They loved their people. They loved the cause, but they stayed at that brook. Right. David went on with the 400, fought and came back. And here's the deal. When he came
I thought he
back,
left 400. He left 200 or
he left 200. When he came back, well, whatever. He
left
left 400.
some.
You're right.
Somebody
You're right.
got
He
left
because it was
behind.
the little
Yes.
bit left. Yeah, you're right. He left 400. When he came back, those people were still there. David received them,
See,
celebrated
that's a good
with
one,
them.
New. That's a good one.
So he didn't throw away the abandoned or confidants. They couldn't make it. So that was the example of that. And then you got Peter.
Look, we're going to talk about Peter when we
We'll
get
talk
back
about
from
when we get
this
back?
break.
Okay.
This is a good little spot here to take a break. When we come back, we're going to share a little bit more about Peter. Then we're going to move on to the next type of confidant. So you be on purpose.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Yes, be ready. And we're going to hear a little bit from Maui Music. New. That's what I want the Lord to do every day. All right.
Father, it's me. Please hear me, my King. I know I am unholy, so unworthy and unclean, but I yearn to know you. My soul thirsts for you, and my temple is it's broken down. Oh, take me and make me new, yeah. Oh, Father, hear me, God who moves. I'm not asking for blessings, not your hand, Lord, but to know your heart. So show me the way without your Father. Oh, I'm patiently waiting, for you, Lord, to take me and make me new. Hallelujah. Take me, Lord, yeah. Hallelujah. Take me, Lord. Hallelujah. Oh, make me whole. Listen, wash my heart, wash my hands, 'cause I want to worship you. I want to worship you. Here we are. Here I stand. So make me new, make me new, make me new. Say, wash my heart, wash my heart, wash my head, wash my head. I wanna worship you, spirit and truth. I wanna worship you. Only you, only you. Here we are. It's just me and you, Lord. Make me new, make me new, make me new. Oh, wash my heart, wash my heart. Lord, wash my head. I wanna worship you. Yes, I do. In spirit and in truth. I wanna worship you. Here we are. Here we are. Here I stand. Take me and make me
listening to Launch with Kim
and Dr. Newt
on PRAYz.FM.
All right,
Hello,
you guys,
hello.
thank you for staying on. We
so glad
appreciate
you're
you.
back.
We are back.
That
We're gonna-
was Mountain Music. Make me new.
Yes.
Make me new.
Make me new. Wash my heart, wash my hands.
Yes.
Oh, God.
You know what needs to be washed. You go ahead and tell him.
Yep.
Let him make it new. We're going to continue on with our topic, but we've seen lots of people have been coming on the page. We want to thank you for joining us, even on our personal pages. Thank you so much for joining in on our live. Thank you so much. We also saw a comment. Ronnie, just want to encourage your heart. First of all, thank you for being with us. And we just want to encourage you. I saw your post, and it is difficult when you have people that you've known and how if they get upset with you, they turn their back or they say things about you. Those are possibly some people who may have been given and placed in a different category than they should have been because they were not true confidants. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So we just want to encourage your heart and thank you because you probably are lifting up someone else right now to think about.
Saying that, right.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about God. He's a restorer.
Yes, he is.
So restorer means to rebuild the structure.
Yes.
You know, so he doesn't heal, but he rebuilds the structure.
Yes, makes it brand new.
Makes it how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, the way it's supposed to be.
So that's our prayer for you right now. We just going to go ahead and release that right now. Restore, God. Restore shalom, peace, and relationships and wisdom and healing in this young lady's life.
All right,
Yes,
look here.
yes.
That's my girl, Lisa Anderson.
Hey, the Andersons.
God bless you, sweetie. You
What's
know
it-
we love you.
What's it, Sweet Jesus? Is that the name
Sweet.
of Is that the name of her
Come on. You just had to talk about some cakes.
her cupcake?
See,
She
sis.
has
You see,
she's a
sis.
caterer? Oh my goodness. Sweet Jesus. Type your name in there so we can tell them what it is.
About
You know,
some
do that.
sweet
Well, I done
Jesus.
said it now. So
But she says this is helping her to identify the confidant
Yes.
categories of those who have hurt you. Absolutely. That's what our other friend had posted up earlier.
Yes.
And it is harder to identify which category you fit in or they fit in. Keep in mind that as they may be a confidant or some kind of confidant to you, you're something to them too. And we just have to make sure that we're operating in the right place.
Right.
Come
right.
on, doctor.
So we're going to go ahead and continue on with the permanent relationships. We talked about the irresponsible confidant. We talked about the abandoned or confidant. But we didn't give Peter. We got to tell about Peter because he's going to come up again.
Come on, talk about
So
Peter.
we call Peter an abandoned or confidant because remember the third time he said, Jesus said before the cock closed throats, crows. Thrice. There you go. Tongue twister for me, right? You're going to deny me. And he did.
Peter bucked up like, nah.
Yeah.
I'm not doing
Nah,
that.
I'm not doing overconfident. Nah,
Yeah,
I ain't doing that.
I'm
right?
not going to do that.
But he did.
He did.
Because of the circumstances, his life, you know, things were in jeopardy.
Right.
But
And you never know what you're going to come up against.
yes.
As a confidant.
Yes. So even though Peter loved Jesus, at that moment he became an abandoned or confident. He wouldn't walk the rest of the way. Right. But we're gonna come back and bring Peter up later. So keep a pin in that one.
Keep a pin.
Yeah, because there was a transformation that happened.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, something great
Right,
happened.
right.
We love you too.
So the next type of confidant we want to bring up to you is what we're going to call a critical confidant.
We
A
all have
critical
those.
confidant.
Some of those we want to.
Right. So I want to tell you, so you guys got your launch pads and your writing, correct? Don't forget, talk about the experiences of having or being a critical confidant. What would you change? What would you do the same? You know, keep that in your
And
launch
check and
pad.
see if you're one of
to
them.
help you, right? So that critical confidant, because they're a confidant, they're connected to you, right? But here's the thing. Those critical confidants, they love to point out the rules and what's right.
Right.
So they're very legalistic. So we do a training called Leadership 101, Layers of Leadership 101. Of course, we wrote. If you ever want us, contact us. We'll come do it for you.
Share it
But there's a thing called a DISC assessment.
Yeah, you guys should know about
Where you
the
look at your
assessment.
personalities. So your
Corporate.
critical confidants are going to be C's in that DISC assessment. So
Explain a little bit what a C
they're
is, babe.
they're basically conscientious. They there has to be a rule. There has to be a procedure. There has to be a process.
They're not the best communicators.
You got to
They're
stay
just-
in those lines. Can't come outside those lines. And because of that, they're not good communicators.
Right, they're definitely not good
Yes,
communicators.
because their
because of that.
communication lies within those lines.
They do understand the processes and the laws and
Right.
the principles.
Right.
They just don't know how to talk about
Right.
it.
So really, they just want you to do the right thing.
Yeah, just do it.
Right. They just want you to do the right thing all the time based on the processes and the rules that they understand to be true.
Stay in this here lane
Right.
and don't go outside.
So here's the danger of the critical confidant. danger is that they're so dogmatic about the rules and the processes and the procedures that they can make you think that you're critical of yourself. They can make you think you can't accomplish
Second guess
anything.
who you are and
Yes.
what you are after they have pounded on you.
So let me change that around. They can't make you think, because no
Right,
one can make
right.
you
It's
think.
up
it
to
can-
you to think
yes,
that.
It'll lead you to believe in your, or to not believe in yourself.
Right. That's why I said they make
Right.
you. Sometimes it makes it makes you second guess yourself.
Right. And it's
what
really,
you hear.
really because of the communication in their
Their inability
Yeah, the
to
misability in their
communicate.
communication
Yeah.
styles. Right. You know, so it's those are your your critical confidants.
But listen, they're needed.
They're needed. They're needed because they force you to focus on the processes. They force you to focus.
They
on the
will
rules.
launch you
Right.
because you want to get away
Right.
from them.
Right.
You want them to leave you alone. So
Right.
you start lining up.
Or they make you look within yourself, and I'm gonna tell you why in a second. I know this. They make you check your motives. They make you
Oh,
check
that's
your
a good
motives
one.
and align them to your real reason
That's a good one.
of your vision, so that you build your character. You become a better person when you have those kinds. So, like I told you, I got in a lot of trouble in my life. I didn't have a lot of rules. I was that dude that if I thought I could get away with it, I was going to try. Right.
That was before I knew.
So
helped
one of
you
the critical confidants
come
in my
together.
life is my wife. You know, she focused on the rules and what was right and what was wrong. And you know, although I still was a grown man and had to make my own
Right.
choices, she brought those things up in front of me and kept them there. So I had to continually look at myself because she was bringing them up. I needed a critical confidant in my life.
But was I communicating well?
But yeah, you were a good communicator.
thank
So
you.
you served a lot of them. that was the best
That was
example
one
that
of
came up yet.
I'll take that.
Right, but it's what I'm saying is those critical confidants are needed as well because they help you check your motives.
They build
And-
character
yes, they do.
in
Yes, they
you.
do. So you can grow. Because you
Yes.
can't launch your purpose in a sustainable way if your character is not solid.
Yes, because it will not last.
Eventually, you're going to do something.
Take you there, but you can't. It can't
off-
keep you there.
Off point, and somebody going to catch you leaning. And that's how that works.
Okay, Llewellyn, she said, understanding who you are in God will allow you to place people in the proper position. Sometimes things happen by making people who you want them to be.
Exactly. Exactly.
Woo, she said it's an eye opener. Well, open both of them. Wait, you got glasses. Open all four, Lynn. That's my sister.
So basically, the purpose of that critical confidant is to get you to focus on the details and the correctness of what you're doing. So it's about the correctness in what you do.
But you are responsible
This is important.
to analyze.
You gotta analyze.
their feedback.
Yes, indeed.
You got to filter through it and
'Cause-
take what you need. Fish and bones, right,
Yeah,
babe?
you eat the fish and spit out the bones because you got to tell when their feedback is moving from constructive to destructive. All right, so that's on you. That's on you.
Yes, it is.
So
You
here's
gotta
some
sign it in its
examples.
right place.
Here's some
Oh,
examples.
David
right?
and
David
his
and his
father and
remember
brother.
David and his father didn't even call him in when
call him
Samuel
in.
showed up, right? Right, because they were critical of him. He's not the one you're looking for. He's short. He's ruddy. You know, he smells like sheep. You know, he doesn't do this, doesn't do that. So they were critical of him. And-
Joseph's brothers
Yes.
were critical.
Exactly,
too.
Joseph,
They were
because
very similar.
Joseph was telling on him.
But keep in mind, for both of those gentlemen, they need character checks.
Exactly.
David as well
Exactly,
as
it's Joseph. But the people, you know, were coming against him. This is my favorite one. There was a young man when Moses, the children of Israel, had left Egypt.
Oh, you mean the guy who
He had him out in the field, had him out in the field, right, in the wilderness. And at that time, the only prophecy came through the leader, right? And the young boy saw some other people because God was moving, prophesying, and he went and tattled to Moses, right? So that was a critical confidant right there. But what Moses did instead, he said, "Let him speak, let him speak." So
them all
yeah, that was
prophesy.
a whole nother thing. And then you got Job's wife.
You guys know
Job's
about
friends,
her.
right? Critical confidence.
Hopefully you're taking your notes and
Yes,
you're along
yes.
with us, but we need to take a little break right here. It's feeling so good. It's like going so, you know.
But I think it's good information. I think
It's
they're catching
good.
it. I'm seeing some good stuff in the
Great
chat.
post. Thank you, guys.
Yes.
So anyway, we'll be back a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit more about the last part of type of relationship. We're going to listen to a song by Travis Green. Thank you for being God.
You're too big for error. You're too wise for mistakes. You are a mighty God, perfect in all your ways. You were here before my first breath, and you'll be here when nothing else is left. You are a mighty God, forever and always. Say you're too big, hey, forever. You're too wise, for mistakes. You are mighty, perfect in all your ways. Hey, you were here before my first breath, and you'll be here, God, when nothing else is there. You are mighty, forever and always. Oh, you love me in spite of my flaws, and you hold me close. Hey, in the midst of it all, God, you're a present help when I am in need. Hey, and so I'm grateful that you won't give up. Here's why, 'cause you love me when no one else would. You care me when no one else would. Thank you for being God. 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 You're too big, hey, forever, yeah. You're too wide for mistakes. You are a mighty God, perfect in all your ways. Before my very breath, hey, you'll be here when nothing else is left. You are mighty, forever God. Hey, in spite of my flaws, you hold me close. Hey, in the midst of it all, you're a present help when I am in need. And so I'm grateful tonight that you won't give. Hey, sing it out, 'cause you love me when no one else would. And you kept me, Lord, hey, when no one else could. I said thank you. I came here tonight to say thank you for making the way. Thank you for being God. 'Cause you love me, yeah, when no one else would. And you kept me, Lord, when no one else could. Hey, and so I'll say thank you for being God. That's all I'm singing. Thank you for being God. Thank you for being God. I'm grateful. Thank you for being God. Thank you for being God. You love me too much, hey, to leave me where I was. You gave your life for me, Jesus. And so I give my life to you. There's more grace in you than sin in me. So I'll say, wave your hand like this. Come on.
You're listening to Launch with Kim
And Dr. Newt
on PRAYz.FM. Hello.
Welcome back to Launch with
Kim.
and Dr. Newt
Thank you so much for
on
hanging out with us.
PRAYz.FM.
PRAYZ.
All right. Listen, you guys, we want to tell you about the last type of confidant, the true confidant. So this is an easy one for you to
Right,
assume.
think about it.
So the true confidant is a permanent relationship.
They always want
Right.
what's best for you.
But here's the deal. It's not based on external factors.
Right.
is seated in the essence of who you are.
Right.
It's about your character. It's about it's the glue that holds you and that person together is your character. These people are always going to tell you the truth.
What's right and what's wrong.
They're going to tell you when you.
They're going to be there for your victories and your failures.
They're going to tell you if you foul or if you're on point. They are going to give you feedback to build you.
And they are concerned about your character and your well-being.
Right,
We can identify them real easy. So hopefully that sums it up so that you understand the different types of confidants.
Right. They're a typology because they're builders and multipliers in your life. So real quick, you need to know some dangers though. A danger of actually, you know why you need them because I just told you. But the danger of them is this. Often
because you're both going in different directions.
A true confidant, right? You grow away in life.
Your own purpose.
You move away, your career or whatever. So you're physically away in life in different pieces, right? So kind of what happens is because of that, they don't know the growth that's happening to you in other areas. They still know the foundation of your heart and always will. So when you go to talk to them, after not seeing them for 10, 15 years, I'm thinking of a friend of mine that I can call right now in our conversation. We'll go back. He'll give me sound advice about me and my character and my choices, but he doesn't know anything about my profession. He doesn't know anything about the things I'm doing now. So the danger in that is to make sure when you're talking to your true confidants that you're hearing them from the inside out, and not the outside in.
That's good.
So they're speaking to your heart, your character, your purpose, your destiny, because they know the foundation of you.
And we could probably add a little bit more to this next week because we're going to continue on with relationships and kind of clarify. So we'll talk a little bit more about this next week. But we're going to press on because our time is out of time so quickly. Just feels like it went away. But let's recap with analyzing those questions. You wanted to reflect on those comrades, those constituents, and those irresponsible confidants that you have encountered.
Yes, remember the 3 questions we started with if you have your launch pad? And I'm not allowed to say the examples, but I'm going to let it go. Because I think we need to have some examples for the true confidants. Can I say them?
No.
I can't say them? Okay.
Our time is up.
If you want to know them, go ahead and contact us through our social media, whatever the case may be. We'll send you those things.
We can talk more about them next week.
All right. So
think about ways that you properly assign or maybe have misassigned different confidants in your life.
Yes.
And then record what you could do differently, as Newt said earlier.
And that's an assignment for your launch pad, you guys. We thank you for joining us on the all-new 24-hour Praise station at PRAYZ.FM, PRAYZ.FM.
And it doesn't end here. It's 24 hours.
Oh, my goodness.
Music is playing for 24 hours. Then there are so many amazing.
What's it, Girl Up, Get Up. You got all kinds of stuff going.
Going on Monday through Friday. We got Praise in the AM.
Yes, you do.
Monday
That's
we have,
part.
it's Kim and Newt in the afternoon. But in the morning we have Selah. We also have Cheryl Underwood with Spiritual Nourishment. On Tuesdays, we have live from Canada. Faith Bite is Faith Fire.
Yes.
Also Tuesday, The Voice of the Overcomer with Pastor Liz. Wednesday, BC Through with Crystal. Crystal, I enjoyed you this last week, sis.
Yeah.
We've got Thursday with Sister Circle and Praise with Lady J. And my girl, Pastor Lisa Anderson, Get Up, Girl Up.
Where's my boy
That's
from
on
Baltimore?
Thursday. Saturday.
That's Saturday.
Today's Praise and Hits with Kyle Jackson.
That's what I'm talking about.
And Sunday, because we work all the time around here, we've got Sunday 4 Corners Praise with the first family of Praise FM.
If you have an
PK,
idea for a
Lady
show,
Rain and Alima. And if you have an idea for a show, yes.
Contact Lady Rain.
Contact Lady Rain
at
www.praise.fm
live. At PRAYZ.FM live on Facebook.
Check us out on Facebook, Periscope, Twitter, on YouTube, Instagram at Praise FM Live.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for sticking and stand. We appreciate you. We love you. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. Same time, same channel.
Woo!
sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Tune in to Launch with Kim
and Dr. New Mondays at 6 p.m. on PRAYz FM.
Surround me, oh Lord, get all around me until people see no